Hi, DJ. So, welcome to our series called the Catch Up series for Frontend Social. So, what we do here in this series is we have like a casual conversation with front-end developers and designers and see what they are up to and how they're contributing to a lot of activities in the community and what our other developers they can pick up from their activities and move ahead in their own career. So yeah, it's really nice to have you with us
Thank
today.
you.
So in fact, to start with, I see a good whiteboard just behind you. I'm actually so jealous about that. Like, I've always wanted something like that at my home. Like I never got to have a
Yeah,
whiteboard like that.
yeah. So that whiteboard is it's a whiteboard, and like so right now what you see today, I'm planning to create another video on JavaScript generator. So
Okay,
I plan the storyline there that what I should be speaking in the video.
okay.
Like kind of practice thing. It's easier, right? You can rub it and then
Yes,
practice
yeah,
it.
that's so much handy, right? Like a lot of times, I just
Yeah,
want to write down something and bring my ideas, just to scribble something, and something is not available around, and I just lose that idea. So it's so
yeah.
handy. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, in fact, for your introduction to our viewers, you don't really need any introduction actually. Like you're so active in the community, but for those who don't know you, I'll just introduce like. Dhananjay has written more than 900 blogs, a lot of
Yes.
them on Angular, right? And mostly on JavaScript and Angular. And you organize the NG India conference. And currently, especially during the last few months, we have seen so much of activity in your YouTube channel, Geek97. So, which is helping so many viewers. Like in few of the videos, like your Angular change detection, I guess I think there were more than 4,000 views at one point, so it was like really awesome. And you invite like a lot of speakers to give webinars on that channel, so it helps a lot of people who are getting started on front end and especially Angular. So tell us something about yourself, like how did you start your journey of front end, and what are you up to these days?
So you are asking about how I started Angular and JavaScript, right?
Yeah.
So I was always a .NET developer working on Microsoft technologies like .NET and C# and all that. But at the end of 2016, it was like a kind of requirement of my job when I was working in my last in the last organization that I had to do Angular, and before that I was not a JavaScript or front end developer. So of course the first thing you do is that you try to find out a community around such that you can learn from them and you can get benefited by that. Back in 2016, it was easier to find at least 3, 4, 5 communities in a city on React, but
Hmm.
it was very tough to find Angular community.
Yeah.
That time, I'm talking about 2016. Now it's very vibrant and there are many Angular communities. But
Yes.
and since I was coming from .NET background, due to TypeScript, I feel home uh, in the Angular
Yeah.
thing, and also I saw many of my community heroes, my inspirations from the community,
Hmm.
who were from the .NET background. I saw them moving to Angular, not to React, and you get inspired by the people, right? I'm talking about John Papa or Dan Vallin,
Hmm.
those people. I have been following them since 2008 from the .NET world. So you get connected to those things, and then I started doing Angular. And yeah, so we started Angular in August 2016. And how it started, can I give a long answer
It's
or
okay.
it's,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's all up to you.
yeah. So how it started, actually the credit should go to, there's a girl from Indore, Srishti Jain.
Hmm.
Srishti and the guy name is Gaurav, Srishti, Gaurav, and There's one more guy. He's very active. He works for a Japanese company. Yasraj. Yasraj, Gaurav, and Srishti.
So Gaurav Chauhan you are talking about?
Gaurav Chauhan,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Srishti and Gaurav, they are amazing.
Yeah. So Gaurav, uh, Srishti, and Yasraj. They actually, I started doing little bit of Angular, like writing little bit of Angular blog post and all. And Yasraj contacted me back in 2016, and he invited me that, hey, can you come and do a workshop on Angular in Indore? And it was I said, okay, why not? It would be great. And then when I went to that city, even though there was some problem on that particular day in the city, but we had good crowd, like good crowd, around like 200, 300, and that is completely their hard work to bring the crowd. But I was the only person who was about to teach, and it really gave me good motivation. Everyone needs a kicking point. So and they were kind enough to invite me, because now if someone invites me, then it makes sense, because you have done a little bit amount of work. But in 2016 I was very new in the Angular, so it was like their trust that they invited me. And then when I came back, and I realized that there's a need of Angular community, and then I started doing this city tour on Angular, my own. So after that, there's a guy from Ahmedabad called Jinal Shah. I was just connected with him on the internet. I did not know him before that. So when he saw that, he invited me to do this Angular workshop in Ahmedabad. And again, we had like 300 people attending that. And then there's a group from Coimbatore. You might be there. This company, Kobai.co, they invited me to do the workshop in. So I was lucky that, people, I was not paying my own money for the flight. They were inviting me, and I was just going and teaching. So my time was free. And this is the way it started. And of course, I was doing a lot in Delhi NCR, which is my home city. Then someone invited me in Bangalore. So we did almost, I guess, from 18th of August or 16th of August 2016, we did first workshop. And in 1 year, like in 2017, like in that 1 year, I guess I have done 12 to 15 workshops in different cities of India. And in meantime, I had an opportunity to meet Angular team twice. Once in Build conference in America, and once in NG Japan, where I met Stephen Fluin, and in the Build conference I met Jules Karmer and Rob.
So you traveled to both the conferences?
Build, I traveled as part of my work.
Okay.
For my last talk, we had a booth and all there. And for Japan, actually, I was there to give a training in a Japanese company on Angular.
Okay.
And luckily on that weekend, there was NG Japan.
Okay.
So I saw that on Twitter, and I requested the organizer that I want to come, and and I was knowing his speakers and all also. So it was easier for, like I then just went there without buying ticket or anything. Just reached there, and then you get all the respect of speaker, even if you are not a speaker. So these are the advantage of being active in the community, and you have more than respect, you have the access to people, right? Like when the speaker room, I can explain to Stephen Fluin that, hey, I want to do NG India. And I was really doing, I was always aspired to do NG India when I started Angular, when I saw other conferences. Yeah, and this is how it started. So it is actually help of all people. It may appear that I'm the face, but there are many people who have somewhere down to the line, contributed to that.
Yeah, that's the amazing power of a community, right? Like we all help each other out, so to come forward. So that was actually you're leading to my next question, as to tell us about how you started NG India.
So NG India actually, so when we did these Angular workshops in different cities, it had really good, really good. It was taken by the audience in a very good manner, always 200 people, 300 people. One of workshop, which I did on Angular in Microsoft Gurgaon with a partnership of with there's another community, there's another website, uh, .NET Salinder Chauhan he's a Microsoft MVP, and he's the founder of that. So we did one Angular workshop together, and I don't want to take credit alone. It was his work also, and we had like around 500 people in Microsoft Gurgaon. And that photo is very popular on internet, that Microsoft had to call extra security and remove the chairs and everyone sat on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah, so that photo I can share with you. Like that photo is very popular. For me, always, and I was always involved in the community. It's not that I started with Angular community. I was always in the .NET, .NET community. So I always, like I never said no to anyone if someone wants to come. That hey, now there is no seat. Have you registered? If you have not registered, you cannot come. We'll send you link 1 hour before. We'll send you message half an hour before. I never do that. You know, it's open. Come, it's a community. Anyway, you can stand and learn, right?
Yeah. So that's something I really like about our community, is that we don't get into those procedural formalities, and somebody misses out opportunities because of that. So that never happens.
So we planned, we thought let's do that, but first time we did not get any support from Angular team or anyone for that, what I was expecting. After that, they have supported a lot, but I'm just talking the first time when we did.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes sense. Everyone wants to see how you are doing it, and then after they want to be, but they were morally supporting, of course. But like when I say they did not support, means they did not send a speaker. In the first edition.
Yeah. In fact, this is such a good learning for a lot of us, right? Because there is always this apprehension of, whether something will succeed or not, that we want to venture out into, especially when you're doing something for the first time at such a big scale, and you don't have the support of a parent organization or a team that you're looking forward to, right? But a lot of times it so happens that, once you put in your efforts, because of your sincere efforts, it does get due credit, and then you get a lot of support from the community and the organization that you.
That is how it is, right? Because they also want to see a trust level, right? Like if they are taking a decision to send a speaker, it's a time, money, everything is involved from. So whoever is a decision maker, he also needs a data to support his decision, right? Or her decision. But Angular team is super supportive after that. And that time also they were very supportive, but like they did not send a speaker. So first time it was good. Like we had like 180 or 200 people and all Indian speakers.
And so this year it was the third edition, then, right?
It was the third edition.
Wow. And I think there were more than 1,000 participants.
No, it was around 650 to 700.
Okay. Yeah, but that's also quite a huge one,
for one technology, one day it was good number.
And especially like I think you had a very good timing. I think probably yours was the last conference before the
all my good karma worked in my favor this year. You know why? Sorry, if I tell you, because let us say if this conference was on 22nd of February, it would have got cancelled due to Delhi riot.
Yeah.
If it was on 7th of March, it would have got cancelled due to COVID. Yeah. So that Saturday only, like
the sweet spot that you could hit. Like.
Yeah, I have even if you see my pinned tweet, I'm grateful. It's something which is pure luck.
Yeah, as they say, right? Like when you put in all your effort into something, the universe will realign to make it a success.
But I was really very lucky.
Yeah. And so what are you up to now? I see a lot of activities during this, this COVID situation, when a lot of people are working from home remotely, or they are spending a lot of time on online conferences, meetups, and content as such. So what are you doing these days? Can you give us some idea?
In terms of community, online
community works, yeah.
See, I don't want to sound negative. I'm not judging anyone, but I strongly believe that the way offline thing works, online thing does not work that way. because when you are at home, there are multiple disturbing points for you. Maybe your son or daughter would come to you. Maybe someone rang your door, or anything could happen. Some news has appeared, anything could happen. So to get the attention of the audience is very tough in online thing. It's very easy in offline, because once that person has decided to come to the venue, now for 4 hours and 5 hours, he or she is yours. But if that person is sitting at home, even after paying money, that person, if that person does not find it useful, very useful, not even useful, that person would leave the screen. Maybe it's running in one browser, but that person is doing Facebook, right? So it's very tough to get audience to get the audience in the online activities. So I'm not very big supporter of these online conferences. I'm very big supporter of this 1-2 hour event, because a person can only give you from his home 2 hours, not the whole day or 10 hours or 20 hours. Because you understand, like at a home, they are at home, multiple could happen, right? Even if they are locking their office door, they can lock for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, right? Not more than that. So keeping that in mind, so when this COVID started, it was like a flood of webinars, right? Every day there was a webinar, and that is good. People should do that. I'm not saying that. But what I realized that the major, out of my experience of last 12 years in the community, the major player of community is that developer who is sitting an unknown face. You don't know them. I just tweeted yesterday that when like the number of like on a tweet announcing the webinar is 10, but people joining the webinar is 400. It means those 390 people are perhaps not on Twitter, not active on Twitter, right? So for the online, we saw there are multiple webinars and many things happening. And from the very big name from the communities, like they are really popular, they are really celebrity, of course, a much bigger name than me doing the webinars. But when I saw the number of people attending that webinar was highly demotivating. 10, 12, 20, 25. It is not motivating. You have to think that I'm tweeting about a webinar and there's 100 RT retweet about that webinar. Then why only 15 people are coming? Even the people who have retweeted that, they are not coming to your webinar. Otherwise, there should be 100 people watching your webinars, right? So with Siprasad Koirala, who is the #1 .NET trainer in India, we thought how we can do such that we get the audience. So we thought, let's try teaching them what is actually essential for them. Let's forget about Angular 10. Let's not become the extended marketing hand of a product team. Be a teacher first, right? No one is doing Angular 10 in India. No project, no Infosys, no TCS. Let's be very clear about that. They might
that's so true. Even I work on an Angular project in my day job, and we are using Angular 7.2. Like, we haven't even come to 8 or 9.
Even Angular 8. So even you are not at the Ivy, right?
So
we thought, what are the pain points? Change detection, dependency injection. We started choosing the topics which would invest 1 hour, right? And luckily we are getting good number of audience. And our plan forward is that we'll try to bring one good speaker who everyone is good speaker. I mean, what to say, like someone like Ben Lash or Devra Kurata or Todd Moto, who have not spoken to Indian audience much, so that they get an opportunity to learn from them. One webinar to do like I or Super, because there are many people who keep sending email that from you, we want from them. And then once in 3 months, we try to give chance to people who are new to speaking. So last webinar, we gave a platform to a very talented guy. His name is Ankit Prajapati, and the girl name is Anjali from Pune. So these two people good job. So this is how we are. And we have a lot of, so on 25th July, we are doing a webinar on 6 burning JavaScript questions they ask you in the interview. And we'll take 15 minutes for one questions. We did little bit of survey that what are the questions they are asking on Google and all. Yeah, so this is the plan to go forward.
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting. In fact, that was quite a good insight that, those who are working those who are online all the time, the span of attention is actually very less. Like, they would either not be joining your webinar, or they, even if they join it, they just keep it running in the backend. Like the browser is just somewhere and they're working on something else. And it's very difficult to get their attention unless your content is really, useful to them. So, yeah.
Useful to them. Yeah. I mean, we are a developer, right? We can think like that. For example, if people wants to listen so much announcement, then the official webinars from the official companies should have like 10,000 people attending that, right? It's not the case. That number of people are not attending that. Because people know I'll get this information here and there when I need it.
Coming back to that topic, what all are, you already mentioned that, like, what else do you think is the difference between an online and an offline conference? Like, what is your experience of an online versus an offline conference? Like when you used to organize this NG India conference, which is like everybody is in one room. Like, for example, one thing that I have seen, when I go to attend a conference, more than just speaker content, even networking is a big part for me. Like, I get to meet a lot of people who are attending, even speak to the speakers and, know about their thoughts about what they are up to, doing the latest these days. If I have any kind of questions around things, I get to ask them. So those kind of things I kind of, miss out in an online conference. Even sometimes even the food is quite good, like, in an offline conference. So what is your take? Like, do you see any other difference other than the one that you mentioned between an online and an offline conference?
I'll answer this question with a metaphor, right? Let us say you are meeting your wife on a Skype call, or you are meeting your wife face to face. There's a huge difference. Even everything is same. Like what topic you are talking to each other is same. Your family, everything is same. So what is real cannot be replaced by technology. It's as simple as that. Sometimes we try to sell what we do have, and then we try to create a story around that. Hey, this is the best way to do that. Forget these conferences. Now they are teaching I have my brother's daughter, she's 6 years old, and they are teaching her yoga online. I don't understand how a 6 years old will learn yoga online. You understand what I mean here, right?
Yeah.
So strongly believe the day it is going to be now, because we are a social animals. Human is a social animal. We need to meet people. We need to know. And inspiration and no online conferences are working. Give me one example. None of the, otherwise, see, the number of webinar in May was 100. In August, it has reduced to, I don't know, maybe 20. Why? Because there's no, people are not liking it. People are not coming to the webinars. Because people are like online conferences is, I don't think, in my opinion, is going to replace the offline conference. Of course, since we do not have the world normal, people may try to do that. But as soon as it is normal, you'll see this flood of offline events again would start. Each weekend event would be happening. Offline event has a lot of things, right? You make connections which last forever. You come to know someone when you like let us say even 5 minutes with your inspiration. Like let us say you are a fan of Stephen Fluin, or you are a fan of John Papa, Dan Valley, Devra Kurata, Todd Moto, and even 5 minutes with them would change the whole perspective for you, right?
Yes.
There are singers and I mean, they have their videos available, but why charges of their offline
Mm.
shows are more, because there's a different energy there, right?
Yes.
So whoever is saying that now offline would not happen is, I don't know the culture of other countries, but in India, as soon as it is
Mm.
normal, it would be back.
Yes. So, say for somebody who's new to front-end development and Angular, what would be your suggestion and recommendation to them about, how they can start ramping up their skills? Like, shall they attend online webinars or read a book or any other ways, or are the offline conferences a good source of information for them?
So conferences, you don't go to conferences to learn, you go to conferences to get inspired, right? Conferences are definitely, if you're a beginner, if you're starting, is something you'll go there to see the environment. But if somebody is starting in Angular, that person could do, Sri Prasad Koirala has a great course on Angular, on Udemy.
Hmm.
I guess if they have Pluralsight subscription, which is paid, Devra Kurata courses are amazing. I have learned from that course, Angular, when I started in 2016. She's amazing teacher. Again on Udemy, this girl, Nishu Goel, has a good course. For the beginners, I'm talking. So her course is good. Siddharth Ajmera has good course on Udemy. So his course is good. I don't know whether they are free or paid, but I'm just taking an thing. And of course, the Sri Prasad Koirala videos are amazing. Is the top on the heap. If you want to learn advanced Angular, really advanced Angular, uh, you remember in discussion I told you I went to Japan to give training of Angular.
Yeah.
So that was a very advanced Angular training, and I was very afraid that how I'm going to present that. And in that time, Todd Moto's advanced Angular course really helped me. So he gave me free access to his advanced Angular course. So if you really want to go advanced Angular, ultimatecourses.com, which is Todd Moto's course, is really really good there. So these are the video courses available. Books. Would it be inappropriate to plug in my book?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'll put a link also. Yeah, definitely. In fact, that was going
I
to be my
don't.
next question, like where I was going to ask you, let's go with that also, tell us about your experience of writing that book as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that book is actually, I mean, it is, if I'm not wrong, as of my publisher, I mean, in the text section, and that also very specific, like Angular, it has sold like more than 5,000 copies
Wow.
in last 2 years. So,
Angular
so they
Essentials.
say Angular Essential is the book name.
Yeah.
It has very basic Angular, there's no advanced topics in that. And I get a lot of email from the people that, especially for the beginners, like who are starting Angular. And this is kind of a version agnostic book. Like I have only covered the topics which are not getting changed a lot with the versions of Angular. So this book is I guess should be good if someone wants to learn from book. But these courses which I mentioned, Sri Prasad Koirala sir's course is based. There's a lot of videos of Jinal also on his YouTube channel. And then Devra Kurata ma'am course, then course of Todd Moto for Advanced Angular, and then course of I guess Nishu Goel and Siddharth Ajmera course on Udemy. These are good, and I have seen people talking about them.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. In fact, you brought out a very good point in the beginning of this conversation that, people don't go to conference to learn. And that just reminded me that whenever I used to go to a conference, my motto was pretty much the same. Like, when I'm just watching somebody speak, rather than the exact topic that is being talked about, because of that energy that is created in that, your mind just starts, getting into some active mode. And I just start getting so many ideas of, what next projects
Exactly.
I can start working on, or something that I should explore more. Or sometimes the speakers, I remember like in one of the React conferences, Siddharth Kshetrapal, he talked about React Portal, and that got me so interested that I started digging deep into what exactly it is, and then I came up with much more insights on that, and then presented that in another React meetup. So yeah, definitely this kind of, the energy is so high in an
Yeah.
actual offline conference that it gets your mind working on to, you start thinking about a lot of ideas.
Well,
That way, yeah.
it's how the human works, right? Like kind
Yeah.
of, let us say, if like I remember I'm from Jamshedpur, so there was there was when we were kid, there was a Kinan Stadium in Jamshedpur. That time there was only one cricket stadium
Hmm.
in Jamshedpur, and they used to have very less matches, like one match in 3 years, kind of.
Hmm.
So once I went to watch a India-England match, and India, of course, lost to England in that match. But when you came back, like even in night, you are doing
Yeah.
right. So that's how human mind works. We get
Yeah.
inspired by seeing people, right?
Yeah.
So this is when we come out from a movie. You see, we start behaving a little bit differently if we are really connected to that movie. So
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, tell us something about your overall day schedule. Like, how do you start your day, and what is it like now during these COVID times?
it's very random. I'll be very honest here.
Mm.
I have a choice to answer. I wake up 5 o'clock. I drink green tea, then I
Mm.
go for running, then I come back, then I do coding, then I talk to my family. I can say that, but it's not true. It's very random. Okay, like someday you are highly productive, so you are like producing 3 blog posts, very positive. Like it goes like that. You are like kind of very happy with yourself. Someday you are just sleeping, or someday you are just watching Netflix whole day and thinking how bad is your life, why you are not in Raw or Mossad
Yeah.
doing the work what they are doing
Yes.
instead of on the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to answer, I try to run daily 4 or 5 kilometers if I can.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, I'm trying to bring it to less than 35 minutes. Right now it's 38 to 40 minutes, 40 minutes, like the time I take to run 5 kilometers. And yeah, and it's just, I get inspired. Like sometimes, like so for example, I give you there's a guy, his name is oh, his name is Avinav or Avimanyu. He's an engineer in Flipkart. I guess he's a young guy. He just started.
Hmm.
He's not senior person, but and I am connected with him on LinkedIn. And his knowledge about JavaScript takes my mind off.
Hmm.
Like whenever I'll post something, he will find some mistake, and that is so good.
Hmm.
Not a mistake, like you have missed this edge case.
Hmm. Yeah, I see
So
a lot of your tweets, and those are very interesting because you put a question and somebody answers, and then there is a lot of good discussions going on there. So it's,
to be very honest, on Twitter there is no discussion.
yeah.
The discussion happens on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
The real discussion happens on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Like because in LinkedIn people don't have to follow you, don't have to be connected with you, and still they can comment, still they can see your see Twitter has become very much like a Karan Johar club. You retweet me, I retweet you. You like me, I like you. So
Yeah.
nowadays on Twitter people don't retweet tweet, they retweet people,
Hmm.
which was not the case in 2015, 2014, 2013.
Hmm.
Now people retweet just the people. People don't retweet the tweet,
Hmm.
right? So so I don't think a lot of discussion is happening on Twitter. Twitter is like kind of very much, you are the great guy, you are the great guy, you are the great guy is happening, which is good sometimes, but that is like a lot of praise is like a drugs, right?
Hmm.
Once you are habituated to that, it's very tough to face someone who is not praising you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And especially when you get that, you started getting that praise newly,
Hmm.
when then you start thinking that person who is not your cheerleader as your enemy, which is actually not correct. You understand that, right? And I have gone through this mindset in 2011. When whoever is not praising me, I started seeing that person as my enemy. But that person was not my enemy. He was just trying to give me different perspective, different feedback about certain things. Because I newly became Microsoft MVP, I was young, and there was 100 people to tell me, you are the one who's going to change the world. So the one who was saying that, hey, you cannot change the world like this, in this way, I started not liking that people. But now I'm in touch with most of those people who were actually telling me truth in 2011. Are you getting the point, right? But in LinkedIn, this, this adulation does not happen. In LinkedIn, you will not find someone is commenting on your post, you are a great guy.
It's much more real, actually. Yeah.
Yes. And so I prefer more time on LinkedIn. And this guy I was saying, he's amazing about JavaScript. I guess like I can call him Getify of India. I'll give you his URL. You should put in the description about this. This guy needs more people to know him. He's from Bengal, from Kolkata, and I guess he lives in Bangalore and works in Flipkart as per his LinkedIn. And he did a webinar, and I attended that webinar. His webinar was how to read official spec document of JavaScript.
Okay.
That was the topic of webinar.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought about that. Like, yeah, I tried it once. That
cannot.
Like, I totally like.
You cannot understand it. It's completely cryptic.
Yeah.
Right? I'll just give you an example. In the official document, there are two types of object: normal object and erotic object. So erotic object is only for the spec. You will not find that word in Indian or any blog or anywhere. They have taken these two terms to explain you different kinds of objects in JavaScript. So if you don't understand what is erotic object, you cannot, you'll only memorize. And when you only memorize, then you will participate in this stupid quiz which happens on JavaScript on Twitter. What would be the output? What would be the output? You understand that? So yeah. So
in fact, yeah, you actually brought out a very good point. Like, nowadays what's happening is a lot of focus has shifted from JavaScript to all these frameworks. Like, people are just talking about Angular and React and Vue, and just about how to use them, and not really so much about, understanding how it really works, inside. Like, for example, you talked about how the Angular change detection works. I am quite doubtful, like, how many people would really know about this? Like, those who are working on Angular projects, even in their day job, how many of them have really explored this aspect, like, to understand how these things really work, or to understand how JavaScript really works within. So what's your approach when you, I see you dig down a lot into these things, like how things work under the screen. So what is your approach of this? Like, how do you, for example, Angular change detection, how did you really understand this thing? Was it through, Todd Moto's course that you talked about? Okay. So,
see, my major job is teaching. So in teaching, what happens is that, so when you are coding, even in a very high project, you have a liberty to get error and you can solve it. You are not in the front of public. Right? Like you compile, if there's an error, you can solve it and you are not getting humiliated. But when you are a teacher in front of someone, humiliation is a wrong word, but the expectation is very high from you. I do a lot of discussion with C. Prasad Koirala. Because he's a master trainer, right? He's like his videos on YouTube has millions of views, right? He's a Sachin Tendulkar of the .NET world in India, like at least in training and all. So we do a lot of discussion that, okay, sir, I need to explain dependency injection. I need to explain tree shakeable people use this word. Root is tree shakeable or whatever. Now, how we could explain this in a very simplified way such that everyone understand it, right? So we do a lot of discussion around that, and then we try to avoid a lot of in-deep technical things. Like many articles I see, what they do, they press go to definition, on Visual Studio Code and that take code snippet and put in their article. That is available. Everyone knows that if they want to get there, right? We try to go around the story that how we can explain that, and create like 2-3 edge cases around that, and don't try to do deep in everything. Only try to go deep in what is required, mainly for the context of training. We see like change detection, because we know there are going to be a lot of questions if someone is paying us money, dependency injection, or this input output thing. Now RxJS, as I started, right? Because there are a lot of questions. You gave me good input and feedback that what are the things I can include in RxJS. So these things were like, you gave feedback. And I like people like you. You did not come and say, oh my God, this video is going to change the world. That is good when you are young to get motivated. But now in this stage of life, you need real people who can tell you the real thing. That DJ, this is good. Of course, this is good. Okay, because you have been creating videos for a long time. But how about you can bring this topic? How about you can? So for example, see, even the page is open, right? So I thought that today I'll read whole about generators. So I prefer reading about books. I'd read it, and then discuss with Siprasad Koirala, like create a story around that. And then record it or write blog post or do webinars. So it's just not random that watch 3 YouTube videos and announce that, okay, now let me teach you generator.
Yeah, and that's what really creates quality in your content, that people really like that, because there's a lot of thought that has gone before creating the actual content. So yeah, that really.
Yeah, because you can fool someone, especially in teaching. You cannot fool people, like because people have so much access to information. If they're paying you extra money, they're going to ask you extra questions. Yes. And that. I mean, if I give training only watching those 4 free videos, they might have already watched that video, right? So I'll be exposed within one hour, right, in front of them. And then what? So yeah, that's how we get around that.
Yeah. So for those newcomers to Frontend, what is your suggestion to them? Like, shall they start with just one framework like Angular and stick to them and create good expertise in that, or shall they explore all frameworks and get a good understanding and then maybe choose one of them, or just take up whatever is required for their job?
Whatever is required for the job. Because at the end of the day, you have to pay the bills. And then, so it's when you are learning something which is required for your job, in one way, someone is paying you to learn. Right? So that is very important, right? What I believe, again, this is very unpopular thing to say, very unpopular, like nowadays, that you don't need degree, you don't need JavaScript. These are very much popular thing nowadays, but actually you need these things. If someone really understands, for example, if someone really understands how Clojure works, he would be able to understand hooks in React within 2 hours. Right? Otherwise, that person will keep guessing, oh my God, what is hook? What is happening? Right? So it is like I believe that people say that, no, you don't need JavaScript, you need TypeScript. That is good. But if you have time, one should invest time in JavaScript, at least few things like functions, objects, prototypes, and these generators, iterators, and all that. Once that thing is good, you really don't have to go into complete deep and go and read a spec doc. I'm not saying that. But at least if that is good, then any JS framework should not be tough for you, right? At least React, because I never did React, but now I'm very confident in React because I had a background of JavaScript, so it was easier for me to learn React. I was able to map my learning. Okay, what they are learning, my map JavaScript learning to React use cases, that what they are trying to say. So I believe that once people have done JavaScript, for them it would be very easy to do that. See, I don't know about the other country, but in India, the problem started with the startup culture. Because in startup culture, what they did, they started hiring these young students. And those startup founders did not give them time to learn anything. Hey, come and write React. Come and write Angular, come and write Vue, and they had to do that as part of internship or as part of their first job. And you know the startup pressure, right? Like you have to do this, you have to do that. But starting JavaScript, and whatever comes in front
Yeah.
of you, do that. Like it's, of course, like you cannot go to PHP directly if you are from the JavaScript or
Hmm.
.NET. But this you should feel
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, in fact, that helped me quite a lot. Like when I started with the frameworks in JavaScript, like I was doing JavaScript since 2009 around, but I started Angular JS in from 2000, the beginning of 14. So at that time it was feeling so new. Like before that there was just only Knockout JS and jQuery and those things we used to use, and then suddenly there was
Knockout
a,
JS, huh?
yeah, and suddenly there was a framework in.
Now this the guy who created Knockout JS, he's behind this Blazor.
Oh, okay.
He's the one
Oh
who is
yeah, I knew
doing.
his name. I forgot it now. Yeah.
He's a
So
British Steven something is his name.
okay, yeah, I remember seeing his video of introduction to Knockout.js in Channel 9, that Microsoft
And when he
channel that
did
was
that
there.
two-way data binding,
Yeah, yeah,
that the
today
whole world,
yeah.
yeah.
You're like wondering, like he
Yes,
just wrote his
yeah,
first name, last name, and it just
yes,
appears.
yes.
Yeah,
That demo was actually that point of time like
yeah.
very popular.
And actually, at that time, I was coming from WPF and Silverlight background, which already had data
Mhm,
binding. And when I saw
mhm.
this happening in JavaScript, I was like totally blown away that, okay, this is the place to be, because this is going to explode.
So if you are coming from like Silverlight or WPF, what dependency properties were there? Somehow the thing is mapping change detection here, right? Dependency
Hmm.
property was updating the properties which are dependent,
Hmm.
mm, and all that. So if you
Yeah.
see everything is goes
Yeah, so
same
that's what I
place.
see, that even when we switch between languages, like a lot of these languages, they kind of carry the same semantics. Like a lot of things, like for example, closure, you will see it in C Sharp, you'll see it in JavaScript, and a lot of other languages. Similarly, a lot of these concepts of data binding, like it was there in earlier UI frameworks also, and it's currently there in most of the frameworks. So even when I started with Angular JS, then I got my next job into React. So I had to kind of learn React. And then I jumped on to Angular 2 plus, like, to ramp up on, like, what's new in the new versions of Angular. And then I was feeling that, okay, why not, if I have touched these two, then why not learn Vue.js? So that's when we created, Frontend Social. When we had to decide the technology, we thought that, okay, me, myself, and there's one very talented guy called Sanjay Singh. We were thinking of, which technology to use, and none of us knew Vue. Like, we only knew React and Angular, and both of us, we decided, okay, let's try out Vue. That way we'll learn something new also. And
Yeah.
that really helped us, like when we started creating this site, and then we started digging deep into Vue. And so now we can really see, which framework works in what kind of situations. We can, pick and choose a framework based upon the project at hand. So yeah, I think that's a very good advice from you, that depending upon the job, we should be picking up our frameworks and learning. Maybe it's good to have a good breadth-wise knowledge for everything. So yeah, so with that note, thanks a lot for being on our show. So
Yeah, and thank you so much for the opportunity. And before we uh, close this, I really want to thank some people for NG India, because here this interview was for the NG India. That C Prasad Koirala, he was like constant support, and Jinal Shah,
yeah, he's an
he
amazing
is
guy.
from very beginning constant support. Then there's a guy called. Uh, mm, I mean, they are not from the technical side, but as a volunteer, Sunny Sharma. I mean, he's a technical side. He's a Microsoft MVP, but not from the front end side. He's a Azure Microsoft MVP. So Sunny is there. Sakti is there. There are many people. See, always there's a face, but there are many people who are working from the very beginning. As I told you, we started with Indore Group, Srishti, Gaurav, Yasraj, then Jinal, then many all these people you get inspired of, and then all these speakers who came, and I mean, it was never possible without help of those speakers from all across the world. they came and they spoke, and it was so as I always say that always a entity is bigger than a person, and always a community is bigger than a person. So it is work of everyone.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, and these are really amazing people. Like I had a chance of interacting with a few of them, like Srishti, Jinal, and Gaurav, and they are, so much approachable to talk to. Like whenever you have any kind of questions, you can always talk to them. They are so much active in the community to help out others. So it's really good to see, people like them who step up and
They're good.
do things for the community.
They are really good. They're
Yeah.
doing, and they are doing a lot of activities now.
Mm.
They that is really good. They, I guess, they recently did some event for girls. That was really good. So
Mm.
so so they're doing good. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Pankaj Parker, he has been quite
Oh,
active
I
in
forget
the.
his name. Yes.
Yeah.
So Pankaj Parkar and Jinal,
Hmm.
they are the speaker of NG India in all edition.
Hmm.
So Pankaj was in 2018, 2019, 2020. Amazing
Yeah.
guy, very talented, very down to earth. Uh, then Jinal,
Hmm.
2018, 2019, 2020. Uh, I guess apart from me, they are the only one who are speaker in all three edition of and Steve sir. Then Srishti came to all edition, but she was a speaker only in 2020. But before
Hmm.
that, she came as a volunteer. Then this girl Nishu was a speaker in 2019, 2020. And now they are like big celebrities. So I'm not sure whether next time they would come or not. so so that is something as organizer I'm worried, but let me see.
You'll have to give them some,
Maybe, you never know. Yeah.
some gift hampers, right?
Some gift hampers, but I'll have to do something. Yeah, but
No. Yeah,
happy
but
to
they're
see,
amazing
right,
people.
this.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that if your platform is helping people to
Hmm.
achieve their goal. See, it's
Hmm.
always their hard work. It's like
Yeah.
you play a platform plays a very small role.
Hmm.
But sometimes that small role also, required at a point of time to give you
Yes.
the push where you want to go. At the end of the day, it is hard work of the people. So yeah, so I really, this Angular community from India, they are really good.
Yeah.
And nowadays I see they are very active from south also. Well, there's one guy called Uday. Then there's a Coimbatore. They did yesterday that NG Suhas and these people. I'm sorry, I'm very bad in remembering name. I apologize for that. But these people are really doing a good job, and I'm sure now Angular community is very vibrant in India. There's a lot
Yes.
of people are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. So that's yeah. It was so nice speaking with you. So all the
Thank you for
best.
talking to me.
Yeah, all the best for your next webinar and
Yeah,
your.
it is on 25th July. Please join in.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Take care.